So it would seem masculinity is being beaten down once more. Men can't be men. Masculine men can't be masculine anymore. It always has to have some level of subtext behind it, or people are looking at there being subtext behind it. Yeah. Zack Snyder's 300 remains intensely problematic. Now this, as you will be well aware of, is just one in a very, very long line of attacks on masculinity. And I stand by that statement. I genuinely think that masculinity is being attacked. It's being eroded away. And I said this actually about femininity as well, because, you know, women can't look like women in video games anymore. It's been happening for quite a while. Not only that, they keep changing characters and saying, no, this is feminine now, this is the thing. And femininity as we know it, as it is stereotyped and as it is like in the world around us, as well as masculinity, is put to the back burner for what would be, I guess, like the 1% of the population. So it's interesting, but it's a shame. So let's dive into this. This is on cbr.com, notoriously crap website, and this is a notoriously crap article, or it's going to become notorious. Anyway, shall we dive into it, ladies and gents? Because apparently, while 300 is getting a 4K release, it is important to look back at the film and comic critically for the homophobic, racist, and ableist portrayals. Sorry, what? I saw none of that when I watched this film. I'm not familiar with the comic, but I'm sure CBR will tell me exactly how. And I will say, I love 300. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I don't think anyone would classify it as homophobic. I think most people would classify it as homoerotic, surely. I mean, is that not what it is more than anything? Apparently not. And that's, again, I'm from an outside perspective looking in. This is all new to me, that kind of stance on it. I really liked this film when it came out. I thought it was really, really good. I enjoyed it. It was something different. Great cinematography. This is probably one of Zack Snyder's best films. You know, he's make or break sometimes, and he really made it on this. I thought it was great. So let's dive into it, shall we? And we will also have a look at the comments that came out surrounding this article, because I think they'll be quite comical as well. This might be a long one, so buckle up. So director Zack Snyder's 2006, was that when it was released? God damn. Period epic 300, based on the comic series by Frank Miller and Lynn Varley. Whoa, Lynn. Can't do that. You're racist and homophobic, Lynn. You're sexist too, probably. Is receiving a 4K release, which will no doubt reignite the controversies surrounding the film. I don't remember any controversies. Do you? Do you remember any controversies? I don't remember any. Maybe this is revisionism again. Now, Snyder employed green screen and staging to directly mirror the panels of the comic, resulting in stunning visuals, which were the primary focus for the positive reviews at the time. However, that's right, we're getting a turd sandwich. However, despite 300's technical and commercial success, reviews were overall mixed, with some critics singling out the film's racist, homophobic, and ableist elements. Oh. The film and the comic are fictionalized accounts of the legendary Battle of Thermopylae, which took place in 480 BC during the Second Persian invasion of Greece. In the battle, 300 Spartan soldiers led by King Leonidas held off the Persian army for 3 days in the narrow coastal pass. It's the comic and film's oversimplification of the Spartans and Persians that forms the basis of the narrative's problematic nature. What? Apparently you can't simplify Persians and Spartans to tell a story. That becomes a problem. Here we go. Here we go. The shocking racism and pro-imperialism of 300 does not exist in a bubble. Give me an example, please. You haven't given me any examples of this yet. You're just saying it. Saying it without evidence doesn't make it so. But it's irresponsible that the film refused to question or investigate the source material's problematic aspects in favour of focusing on capturing the comic's aesthetics. I see! Here we go. Can we just read that again? The shocking racism and pro-imperialism of 300 does not exist in a bubble, but apparently it is irresponsible that the film refused to question or investigate the source material's problematic aspects, because it then chose to focus on comic aesthetics. They're saying that the film should have explored how the source material was apparently problematic, racism and homophobic and all of that kind of stuff. That's why the film sucks, apparently, according to you guys. CBR. That doesn't make any sense. For instance, Snyder's Spartans are a society of white, able-bodied people fueled by aggression and violence, and they are praised as the unquestionable heroes. Well, they're not really white. They're Mediterranean. Mediterranean people wouldn't classify themselves as white, CBR. I know you're probably American, and to you it's all the same, but that's actually quite racist. Believe it or not. Do you not understand how... Oh my god, really? Unbelievable. On the other hand, the villains are portrayed as a gender-fluid society that was visibly... No. Okay. Oh my god. Let's just break that down, right? So the Spartans are apparently a white society. No, they're not. They're Mediterranean. Apparently the Persians... Persians are not white. No, they're not. Bingo. Then they're not gender fluid either. Just the leader was. Just the leader. And surely that's good because he's the leader of... I mean, what? And apparently they're the incarnation of evil and treachery. No, it is as well. Remember, it is told from the Spartans' perspective. So they're not going to view the Persians that... No, because Persians aren't white. They're not going to view them as being completely good, are they? Let's be honest. They are going to view them as evil. Why do you not understand this? We could... just for example, right, ladies and gents, for example, let's do the same with the Jedi. The Jedi are portrayed as the white light users. And the Sith, this is how fucking retarded this argument is, and the Sith are the users of darkness. Darkness, this is the oversimplification, darkness being black. And they all wear black. Therefore, that's racist. Because they're all evil, but the Jedi are good because they're in white. That is literally this argument, by the way. That's what they're doing here. Fuck the world. Anyway, 300's depiction of good versus evil is overtly racist by having white be inherently good while people of colour be inherently bad. Again, Greeks wouldn't call themselves white, guys. They really wouldn't. It's quite racist of you to assume that. It also reinforces the growing untrue notion that foreigners entering a white country are to be feared and attacked. But it was the Persian Empire looking to take over Greece and Sparta, wasn't it? So, in the context of the historical battle that it's based on, it is actually right, isn't it? Yes, it is. Harmful representation like that can support the false notion that it's right to fear immigrants. These are some championship gymnastics they're doing. The film's harmful depiction of race promotes the idea that racist ideologies like this are a way to protect a morally superior way of life. Well, for starters, you are equating Spartans, Greeks, Mediterraneans to white people. They are not the same. They wouldn't call themselves that. And you're also classifying Persians who are of... I mean, they wouldn't classify themselves as white either. It's based on the battle of... Persia was trying to take over the world. So it's true. What are you on about? Furthermore, 300 Spartans, the heroes of the narrative, are from a military-based society that promotes violence, aggression and fascism. However, the film frames this society as a free democracy. in combination with the above noted anti-Middle East sentiment. This feeds into a warped notion of patriotism that prides itself in xenophobia and racism. Massive mental gymnastics here. Huge, in fact. Again, Spartans, that was their society. Do you want them to change it? What are you doing? What is wrong with you? And again, remember, Persia was trying to take over the world. It was an empire, Persian Empire. It's not anti-Middle East. They did this. It's like saying Mongolia, for God's sake. It's like having a film about Mongolia, right, and saying, right, well, you know, the Mongolians were trying to take over the world. That's racist. But they were. What? Like, what? Christ. No, the only thing warped here is your article. Warped notion of patriotism. Anyway, it continues. This thing is just amazing. The film was irresponsible in its casual expression of fighting for so-called freedom when the government itself is far from a free democracy. King Leonidas claims that the Spartans are free men who are fighting against the tyrant, but the Spartans are the ones systematically murdering their own children for non-conformity. And they are the ones who have created a monoculture of soldiers and wives that offers zero opportunity for freedom of choice or expression. Okay. Now, I don't know my history, but I'm sure some of that was actually based on historical facts. Also, there's definitely some irony here. Like, remember, this is probably some left-wing douche writing this, and I bet you they support China. China, notorious for having birth control and only allowing certain and killing others and stuff like this. There are some, you can see the parallels. As mentioned earlier, the murder of children who do not conform to societal norms is one of many issues with the Spartans, pushing forward an ableist ideology. 300 glorifies the idea that individuals with disabilities, for those who do not fit in a desired physical appearance, have no right to live or be part of this society. Right, okay. Again, society. In the early scenes of 300, skulls of dead children who were deemed unacceptable are put on scene to glorify how strong the Spartans are, since they only accept perfect individuals in their society. But it's also to show how harsh the society is. That was the framing of it, ladies and gents. The film takes no responsibility in its depiction of this atrocity. Instead, again, because it is told from their perspective, perspective matters. Perspective is the perception of the film, or how it's supposed to be perceived. Did this go whoosh? Mate, join Reddit. Whoosh! Anyway, and then, you know, when there is a Spartan who does not fit the ideal body type, he is depicted as disgusting and evil. Any attempt at humanizing him is brushed away, making him a sympathetic. Yeah, but it's also that is a narrative point, because then he betrays them. And did you not watch the film? Are you missing something here? Along with demonizing those with disabled and different bodies, the film is homophobic. Most people would say it's homoerotic, but alright. And some of the most homophobic images are intentionally incorporated by Snyder, who seems unaware of how problematic this depiction of gender and sexuality is. One of the biggest instances of this dated homophobic representation is when Xerxes offers Leonidas peace in exchange for submission, which Snyder put in the film because, to use his words, what's more scary to a 20-year-old boy than a giant god king who wants to have his way with you? I mean, what is wrong? What, that sentiment does ring true, does it not? To a 20-year-old boy? Yeah, probably. Depicting a man as a physically more powerful force who threatens violence in exchange for sex is a lazy trope, too often used to hammer home that a male character is a bad guy. And in this case, it perpetuates the problematic stereotype of the predatory gay. I can't believe I'm reading this, seriously. For decades, this type of representation justified the false belief that straight men should fear gay men because they would inherently pursue them sexually. So films like 300 perpetuate the false offensive notion that it's okay to be violent. Oh my god. I don't know if you heard that. That was epic thunder timing as well. No, it doesn't. That's not what the film does at all. Calm down. Anyway, so 300 may have been a box office hit that catapulted the careers of Snyder and Gerard Butler, but it's problematic. Looking back 14 years later, The racism against Persians who historically were trying to take over the world. Apparently, that's racism. Fascism, ableism, and homophobia of the comic and film is as glaring and intensely problematic as ever. If audiences choose to return to 300 with the 4K release, here you go. Here's them telling you what to do. Fascism. If audiences choose to return to 300 with the 4K release, they should be active viewers who critically analyse the problematic areas, a task unfortunately not performed by the filmmakers during production. That's right, don't buy this. If you're not going to do that, that makes you evil. Margaret Lockyer. Margaret Lockyer has a degree in English and history with honours in apocalyptic literature from the UPEI, where she played varsity ice hockey. She also has a diploma in writing for film and television from Vancouver Film School. She likes practicing yoga. She's also an idiot who didn't watch the film, doesn't understand that certain things. For someone that has a degree in writing film, I bet you've not written one. And if you have, I'd love to see your narrative devices. I'd love to see it, because I think you missed it here. And here you go, some of the comments. Let me move them up, because I want to get to this. Obviously, the article's trash, like we all know that. But this is funny, right? And this is where badly needed social justice turned into a parody of being woke, because you've got to be effing kidding me. There was nobody, literally nobody, who thought 300 was an accurate depiction of a single thing. It's about right, isn't it? I don't even think 300 was a good movie, but wow, this article is dumb. First off, if you are watching this film as a history lesson, then you've taken a wrong turn in life. Second of all, at least do some research before writing a piece like this. Spartans did inspect babies for physical deformity, and discarded any that did. That's a fact. The film isn't being ableist, it's a historical fact. And then we get further, right? Also, the reason why the Persian army, who are visibly not white because Persian is in the Middle East, are depicted as the villains, might have something to do with the fact that they were the invading force. Jesus, who pays these people for this junk? Love it. I don't think there's any... Is there any single comment that is pro this? Of course the Spartans are homophobic, racist and whatnot in the movie, because actual Spartans were so. There's something called history books. Dumbest article CBR has posted in a long time. Why are Greeks represented as white and Persians are Middle Eastern? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because they were. Again, Greeks wouldn't call themselves white. This observation, worded as if it were gospel, is myopic at best. Brilliant. I find it telling that every response so far is defending the film. But some of them are saying it is because, of course, the film wasn't a historical, accurate one. And others are saying, of course, it is that way because that is how history was. Persians were nothing like in the film. No, of course not. But again, it was told from the Spartans' perspective. Unbelievable. I mean, it's just trash, isn't it, really? Again, it's told from their perspective. I mean, this article is just nonsense. But there you go. Toxic masculinity once more. Destroyed. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this down below in the comment section. I'll leave the article down below if you want to comment on it. Please do. But remember, the erosion of masculinity continues. Thanks so much for watching there, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and please do share it. This is trash and it needs to be out there a little bit more. But anyway, thank you. I've been Mr. H. Take care.